achei que fosse Final Fantasy, sem sacanagem. Viu o Cactuar ali. Eu usei um Cactuar. Caralho, mano. Os caras compraram a Blizzard de kkkk. Foda-se. O que você quer comprar pra mim? É surpresa, entendi. Pelo amor de Deus, hein? R$ 1.000 não? Whitechapel. White Capela. Calma aí. Vou dar pro Joey Peterson. Não marquei ali. quem é quem. Difícil que eu posso fazer isso.
Excuse me, sir. I have a few questions for you.
Another journalist? I didn't answer the first one, so piss off!
I'm not a journalist, I'm a doctor.
A doctor, you say? It's quite a rare breed in this part of town.
Really? But still, here I am. Dr. Jonathan Reed, at your service.
I'm Joe Peterson to some, but Colossus Joe to most. And I don't remember asking for your service, sir.
É que tô banindo gente aqui.
Have you heard of a nurse named Dorothy Crane? She's a colleague of mine, and is supposed to live around here.
Dorothy Crane? Yeah, I know her. One of the few good souls who dare to help the sick around here.
Could you please tell me more about her?
She's a nice girl. Tries to help the migrants. I offered to give her a hand, but she said my reputation would attract too much attention.
According to you, physicians are scarce in this part of town. Why is that?
Not familiar with this neighborhood, are you? I guess your fancy colleagues are too afraid of being stabbed in the back.
This part of town does have quite a reputation. Would you say it's justified?
Totally. Look at me, for instance. I always look my opponent in the eye before knocking him out.
May I ask what you do around here?
I do whatever I want, and sometimes even more. Now sod off.
How did you become the local bully everyone is afraid of, Joe?
There's no pride in roughing up poor bastards. But this is the only job I've found. And it pays well, too.
A job? So you're racketeering for someone else?
I got enlisted by the Wet Boot Boys, a gang from the docks. I'm their muscle for their dirty work.
You are a criminal who endorses criminal activity. The least you could do is stop hiding behind this pretense.
I don't care what you think, sir. I do what I have to do for my own reasons, and that's that.
I'm not sure Mr. Lewis would agree with your by all means necessary philosophy, sir.
Oh, do you really think he's the poor victim here? Barrett can be as sneaky as anyone. Long ago, I even called the bastard my best friend.
Why do you keep on working for the gang, Joe? You know it doesn't suit you.
It's true, I hate this job. And I know I made some bad choices, but I'm a wet boot boy now. People won't forget it.
You could leave tomorrow. Start another life in another town.
That's easy for you to say, Doctor. We are poor. My son's weak, and there's no way he'll endure another disappointment.
Harry doesn't seem happy living in Whitechapel. Why did you make him come here?
I've always put my son's interests above everything else, whatever he may think. Our house is small but affordable. The walls are thin, but the door is solid.
You really love your son, don't you, Mr. Peterson?
He's my pride and joy. Even if he hates me for the choices I make and pushes me buttons more than he should.
Since the criminal nature of your job means you could be arrested, are you not afraid of what would happen to your boy if you were?
No one will ever take my son away from me. If that ever occurred, I'd hunt the bastard down and rip off his head with my bare hands.
Do you have any regrets?
Only one. Not to have my beloved wife by my side. She died when Harry was little. My sweet Jane. She gave the boy confidence.
I think the documents in this box could be of some interest to you.
Really? Where'd you get it?
I found it in an abandoned building nearby. I thought you might want to keep these letters.
Let me see. Letters about my boy. Thank you, sir.
You do not appear surprised or pained by this.
Surprised about what? Harry's my son, I'm his father, and that's all there is to know, don't you think?
Yes, I suppose you're right.
Here's a little something for your trouble. And to remind you to keep your mouth shut about all this.
Goodbye, Mr. Peterson.
Sei lá, mano. Cadê a experiência?
Fancy buying something, sir?
You never... What do you know of Harry Peterson? The boy seems so fragile. Not like his father at all.
Harry's a good boy, but he spends most of his time complaining. He's had it tough, all right, but he needs to grow a pair.
What troubles him exactly?
Well, despite being his father's son, almost everything, I think. He never wanted to come to Whitechapel in the first place. Hates this place more than most of us.
Joe Peterson. He's the villain here, isn't he? But you seem to know each other.
I've known Joe for years. I saw him box once or twice. He was a friend then. But these days, he's just another thug.
Fuck.
And no one has ever stood up to this thug.
Nobody would be fool enough to stand against a wet boot boy.
What can you tell me about Mr. Peterson? Besides his behavior toward you, obviously.
Colossus Joe was a decent boxer, good one even. But after his wife passed away, he found every excuse to stop training. Just wanted to pick fights with everyone.
Taking out your anger on others is nothing but cowardice. And Colossi are quite famous for tumbling down.
We've all had some rough times, ain't we? But most of us don't use our fists to see us through.
Barrett, you had an affair with Joe's wife, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. She's the only woman I loved. My first regret is that she stayed with Joe after Harry was born. The second is I never shed a tear when she died.
Do you mean you're Harry's father?
No one will ever know for sure. And it's better that way.
Hum.
And I don't believe I'd have been all that bad as a dad.
Olha aí.
Did you ever try talking to Joe?
Never. But I suspected he knew everything, even without knowing it. And he decided to make me pay in his own way.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Lewis.
Capoeira ali, né? Isso.
Goody.
I'd like to see what kind of...
Deixa eu só tentar tirar uma foto dele aqui. Fazer o meme direito. É que a iluminação tá tanta, cara. Usar mais iluminação. Aqui já tá melhor.
When science fails you, This elixir will give you faith again. The Swanborough cordial can be the answer to all your problems. As long as you have the money.
Muito perto.
Its effectiveness has been proven by many.
Longe.
Even the flu is no match for the Swanborough cordial.
Está perfeito. Do not talk in public. Não tussa em público, olha só. Qual é, Claudio?
I cannot enter.
É o vampiro, pô, vamos essa merda.
It's locked, all right.
What do you want? Leave me alone.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I'm looking for Nurse Dorothy Crane.
There is no Dorothy Crane here. Now goodbye.
I'm afraid this medical leaflet says the opposite, sir.
Really? Well, I'm afraid I'm going to close this door right now. Go bother someone else, Mr. Doctor.
To enter that house, I must discover who this man really is. Maybe I could start by observing what he's up to.
Eu consegui olhar ele de algum lugar.
It's locked.
Lá de cima.
There's no one in. It's locked, all right.
Agora eu não sei o que fazer. Vou ter que observar as ações do cara. Ok, mas como é que consigo observar? É que hoje feito o lobo. Tem mais um, cara. Pior que eu tô enferrujado, tá? Acho que eu não morri se tentar enfrentar ele. Oi, meu chá. Olha só, mano. Cercado. Tô louco. Forte pro cacete. Voltei.
I will return later. It's locked.
Caralho, mano. Tem outro caminho, deixa eu ver. Na verdade, você tem dois caminhos só.
No one's there.
Swanborough cordial can be the... Good evening. Good evening.
Good. Good evening.
I'm afraid...
What is it, Benjamin? It was the war, wasn't it? Your nerves are shot, aren't they? I need some answers, Private. From one soldier to another.
The doctors called me a liar. A coward. Put me in a straitjacket, locked me up. Finally, they sent me back to the front lines with a handful of tablets.
What about those we left behind, face down in the mud? You want to change places with them? You cannot waste your chance at life this way.
It's not that simple. I wouldn't have expected you to understand. I don't even know why I spoke to you in the first place.
Beleza. Ah, tem como falhar então. Eu só não vou matar ele mesmo. Parece que tem um maluco no YouTube. Tá dizendo. Nossa, que esquisito.
How are you?
I'm not your
Isso aí é esquisito.
Goodbye.
I'll not die in this stinking alley reeking worse than a week old.
I have this thirst
Mas como é que ele...
for blood.
Tinha alguém com ele?
I can't believe I'm doing this.
Call of Duty no Game Pass. Foda-se. Graças a Deus, cara, na moral. Black Ops 2 vai reviver, cara.
This elixir will give you faith again.
Ah, ele tava sozinho. Ah, entendi. É, isso deixa ainda mais suspeito mesmo. E eu não sei o que fazer isso aqui. Não sei. Tem que investigar o cara? Tem, mas como é que eu consigo fazer isso? Pra trancar dos dois lados. Não tô achando local pra voar aqui. Pra... Então... A desaparatada de Harry Potter aqui que a gente faz.
I cannot enter.
I crashed my plane. Aí vazou do Resident Evil aí, ó. Aham.
I'd step back, sir. Oh, you! Stop there! Die, vermin!
Eles atacam mesmo. Para, caralho. Chato.
That's what you do with leeches.
nome de quem? Do carinha que tem que investigar? Vai aparecer já já. Ali, ó. Darius Petrescu.
It's locked, all right.
É, caixa bugada. Cuidado de caminho pra ele. Esse bagulho da Microsoft é uma vitória para os jogadores, né? A Microsoft também provavelmente dá muito dinheiro. Da maior franquia FPS aí do mundo, Call of Duty e tal. E outros gigantes também, tipo Diablo aí, da vida. Diablo acho que é o Dungeon Crawler mais famoso do mundo, na verdade. Maior, eu acho. Eita. Que legal. Ele fica preso no caminhão. Só que tipo... eu não acho que Call of Duty vai virar exclusivo. Se for virar, não vai ser agora não. Vou chegar e sair da casa dele. Ué. Nossa. Eu não acho que Call of Duty vai ser exclusivo. Se for, não vai ser agora. Mas pra mim, o importante é ele entrar no Game Pass, cara. Que tipo, é muito caro Call of Duty, mano. Call of Duty é muito caro. Deus me livre. Cara, eu já tô com o bagulho aqui, cara.
Nobody at home.
Eu não consigo achar o local pra eu começar a olhar ele. Só isso. Não tem botão de interação. Deixa eu ver. Eu vi que tu me viu aqui. The left é essa daqui. Olá, aí, beleza? Nada acontece. Oh, apareceu. Aí, ó. Do nada. esquisito esse objetivo, hein? Caralho.
A strange man was at the door with a pass for our medical facility. I refused him entry.
Darius, how could you know he didn't need our help?
His clothes were too finely tailored to be for Whitechapel.
Perhaps just a friend of that stray poet who is always about.
Richard Nethercott? No, not of the same cloth, this man. I suspect some machination from that journalist.
Clayton Darby. Is he still asking questions?
Yes. I saw him drifting around St. Mary's Church. I swear he is tracking me just downwind.
I must talk to that journalist or the poet. They must know about Darius. Nearby the church they just mentioned.
Não, cara, o bagulho pra tu observar eles tem que aparecer aquela mancha vermelha no chão. Aí sim vai ter como. Isso é aquilo ali.
Unable to see the true.
Forgive my interruption.
Do not apologize, my son. Father Tobias Whitaker is always happy to teach mortals about the incoming Armageddon.
I am Dr. Jonathan Reed, and I just have a few questions.
A scientist? You are much more lost than I thought, my son.
Oxi.
What do you mean when you say that I am more lost than you thought?
All scientists are entangled in a world of causes and consequences, and most of them can't see the plain truth.
Quite a judgmental opinion, if you ask me. But what do I know? Blinded by science as I am.
Well, you are seeking answers, aren't you? Answers about the Armageddon about to strike the city. Answers about the hidden truth.
Well, I suppose I can spare a few minutes listening to your so-called truth.
As a doctor, you must be aware of the decimating epidemic. But let me tell you that this so-called Spanish flu is just the beginning of the end.
What do you mean?
The beast is finally revealing itself, corrupting the flesh and the heart of men. With my own eyes I have seen them, those minions from the abyss.
Really? And what would be your answer to this biblical threat?
We must fight the disease before this legion outnumbers us. But not with scalpels and microscopes. No.
What is left then?
Cleansing fire.
Tell me, Tobias, what exactly is your plan concerning the cleansing of this city?
Recognize his own. More than once this city has risen from the ashes, hardened and purified by the flames.
Que história é essa, cara? Onde é que você botou o limite?
Purification by fire has proved useful, but where do you stop? Burn the clothes? The buildings? The corpses? Worse?
Your lack of faith is predictable. But my task is to convince rational minds like yours to see the light. This is God's will.
You're mad and dangerous. You're nothing but a soulless butcher. A small-time Torquemada. The Savonarola of Whitechapel.
My son, if you think salvation is a free gift, go listen to the lies of that pompous fool, Joseph.
Joseph, a fool?
Vicar Larrabee of St. Mary's Church. While he continues preaching his fraudulent redemption, more and more people die in the streets.
What do you...
Also,
Quite a...
well, you...
I am. But the answers I seek are based on facts, not superstition.
A conversa acaba ali, viu?
Have you any friends? Any family left in these terrible times?
No. But I have a disciple I see as my son. He is so devoted.
É o Valdomiro isso daí, né?
I sent him to preach the good word in the heart.
Compre esse como é que é? Feijão que cura Covid. Caralho, Valdomiro, meu Deus do céu, Valdomiro. É o que eu falei, desse feijão aí que cura Covid aí, ele foi indiciado aí pelo Ministério Público, caralho, porque isso daí já era brincar muito. Bagulho de saúde, calamidade pública aí, ele não pôde fazer não, ele teve que parar. Feijão que curou Covid. Esse ele teve que parar.
Where did you send him?
I sent Samuel to the Stonebridge Cemetery, where the pestilence and evil grows night after night.
You sent him on some preaching crusade during the epidemic.
As a true believer, Samuel will fear no evil while he walks through the valley of the shadow of death.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? I'd like to know more about her.
I don't like the liberal ideas of nurses, but I especially abhor that Nurse Crane you mentioned.
Why do you hate Nurse Crane more than other nurses?
Before coming to London, she was a member of the communist resistance in her country. That's what happens when you let a woman get involved in politics.
So, you're not exactly a fan of Florence Nightingale's work. But nurses are essential for modern healthcare.
Nuns should be the only...
Essa galera, eu não sei se vocês acreditam em Deus. Tem uns caras que... Tipo, Valdomiro. Eu acho que ele não acredita em Deus não, cara. Acho que ele acredita nele mesmo só. E essa galera, acho que... Os doidos lá, acho que acreditam no Valdomiro, sabe?
It's obvious only they have the necessary moral fiber.
I have heard enough. Good evening.
It's fu...
Que? Tu vai sair. É. Calor do caraca.
Excuse me, sir. Are you familiar with this part of town? Name's Clayton Darby, reporter.
Sorry, I'm new to White.
Que? Ah, o de lá.
But perhaps you could help me since you're a journalist. My name is Jonathan Reed.
Dr. Reed, the famous surgeon. I'll gladly help if I'm able, sir.
What is a journalist doing in this borough after sunset?
He goes where none of his colleagues would dare to go, to inform the country.
So you risk your life to reveal the truth. I saw many reporters do the same during the war.
Whitechapel is the crucible of so many untold stories and tragedies. I want people to know them.
That's quite honorable of you. But is the public interested?
Not at all, sir. And that's why I'm an independent journalist, hoping to sell some stories.
Okay.
Why are the newspapers keeping silent about the Spanish influenza? It's as though none of you care.
There's a war going on. People shouldn't be demoralized by news of deadly diseases.
Uma desgraça. Fala que é uma desgraça, sei
It's
lá.
a disgrace. People are left to die alone. No one is properly informed of the risks.
These are bad times indeed. So much for the glorious British Empire.
Have you any idea of the danger you face in these streets at night?
I've had to run and hide more than once from frenzied mobs incensed by the fever. Do you think the flu is really responsible for this, Doctor?
I'm convinced there is more at work here than a simple epidemic.
Really? To be honest, I could say the same. Some of the sick I saw or heard of. My God, what happened to them?
I heard you're investigating an underground medical dispensary in Whitechapel. What do you know about it?
Not much, I'm afraid. They are wary of strangers, and I'm not really an acquaintance of theirs. Why do you care?
I'm afraid
Oh,
one of the
verdade.
nurses from Pembroke Hospital may be involved with unsavory activities.
Ah, could it be Dorothy Crane?
Without a doubt, you are a damn fine journalist, Mr.
Ele falou.
What do you know of her accomplice, a man named Darius?
I don't know much about the man. He's very cautious. Never goes out. Doesn't seem to have any friends or family.
He has no relatives at all?
No. Except for that strange man, a poet named Richard Nethercott, who sometimes comes by. Darius would never let him in.
Where can I find this Mr. Nethercott?
He spends most of his time lurking around Whitechapel, talking to himself or declaring verses. These days, you can usually find him behind the church.
He never goes out?
No. A few days ago, he unexpectedly did. I followed him, but it was just a ruse to keep me away from
É que os diálogos do jogo são interessantes de ficar vendo, cara.
How do you know?
He went to the nearest mailbox, but just before posting his letter, he ripped it up and threw it away.
Goodbye, Mr.
Que coisa. Nossa, lá do outro lado, mané. Cacete. Ai, ai. Vamos lá ver, vai. Vou marcar no mapa. Travou. Bom, confirmou aquele jogo do Game Pass lá, vai chegar o jogo do tamborzinho mesmo. Hitman, Death's Door, Nobody Save the World. Tem a porra do Danganronpa lá que eu não vou jogar essa merda. Operazzi, que é o jogo do cachorrinho, que eu não sei do que se trata. Rainbow Six Siege Deluxe vai chegar onde? Ah, PC, porque no console já tem sim. Eu falei, ué, vou chegar de novo. Rainbow Six Extraction não me interessa, que é de zumbi, não é joguinho online competitivo. Existe consequência matar? É, faz sentido. Bom, Yakuza 3, 4, 5 não apareceram na lista de saindo do Game Pass. Deve ter renovado o contrato. Tem que jogar ainda.
Imprisoned by your daily routine, unable to see the true horror around you.
Good evening, miss. I'm Dr. Reed. I'd like to ask you a few questions. I know what you're thinking. A tall stranger who meets a girl in the street at night. It reeks of the penny dreadfuls. But I mean you no harm, truly.
Muda.
I know you understand what I'm saying. Your silence has nothing to do with you being mute, does it?
Achei que já tinha voltado.
I know. Very well. Hello again, miss. Camellia, I know you work for Dorothy Crane. Please tell me about her secret dispensary. A stubborn and mute comrade. Nurse Crane and Darius Petrescu have been clever. Very well.
Aberto, ó. Está aberto. Olha.
It's a leech! Kill it! Oh, that's gonna be smart.
Eita. Vai ter um boss aqui, mano. Veneno Kane. Conversar com ele. Eita porra. Eita porra, ele é clérigo pra caralho mesmo. Meu Deus. Tô brigando com o clérigo, mano. Ah, que doideira, mano. Pra cacete, tá doido. Power of the Lord commands you. Esse os malucos exorcistas estão falando, né? Ah, a luz é muito forte. Não perdeu a postura não, ele.
This man stunned me with his faith, his crucifix. This is not good news.
Cara, que doideira, mano. Cara, que doideira, mano. Foi muito doido isso daí, viu? Ele até comentou sobre. Ah, merda. Isso ali é uma merda. Esse grandão ali, né?
Ain't safe here for a gentleman. Are you deaf? You one fucking
A área dele é até aqui só, então. Oh. Ah, já sei onde eu tô. Realmente já sei onde eu tô. Vamos ver.
This is despicable. I can't believe I'm doing this. This is despicable.
This is despicable. Somebody help me. Cadê ele? Tem um bicho level 25 aqui. Deixa eu descer lá pra mim. Pra cá mesmo. Apertei. Apertei! Cacete. E são dois. Acho que não só. Para com essa merda, hein? Morreu, Bob. celular. Todo dia tem a merda, cara.
I have thirst for blood.
Somebody help! Somebody help! Somebody help! Somebody! Somebody! Help!
Are you all right, miss?
I don't know. Who were those people? They wanted to kill me. Why?
They've lost their minds in the epidemic. They won't come back for now.
You seem to know a lot about them, sir.
I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. I'm investigating this disease.
I am Xiaoxun. Thank you so much for helping me, Mr. Reed.
Xiaoxun.
I must go to the cemetery now. Goodbye.
Carnage. Is Father Whitaker's disciple among the bodies, I wonder? This man's far too old to be Samuel. No. By the look of his clothes, this man's a docker. It's locked. It's locked, all right. Shouldn't you go back home, where you'll be safe?
Maybe later. But for now, I need to talk to my husband at the cemetery, Mr. Reed.
Samuel isn't here. I had better follow the blood trail.
Mas tem muito inimigo aqui, mano.
As I feared, Samuel no longer preaches the good.
Samuel. Caralho! Marca muita vida, mano. Nossa! Oh, não morreu. Aí.
This is despicable. I have this thirst for blood. This is despicable.
Do outro lado do mapa. Né?
I cannot enter.
Vou morrer. Ah, para, apertei o botão de final, mano. Morri. Tá vivo aqui.
I have this thirst for blood. This is despicable. I have this thirst for blood. can't believe I'm doing this. This is despicable.
Ai, ai.
against Malevolence.
Good evening, Mr. Whitaker.
It's Father Whitaker, my son. So,
Why did you send Samuel to the cemetery, Tobias? What did you see there?
I sent him on a vision. A dream of a dreadful and laughing queen covered with blood, sleeping with the dead and feeding on the fear of the dying.
A laughing queen dressed in blood. Tell me more.
This epidemic is her feast, the announcement of her return. Against her, science is no more than a child's toy.
But who is she?
She is the mother of harlots and abomination of the earth. She is Babylon, drunk on the blood of the saints.
What?
I said...
You... Good evening.
It's fun.
Tobias Whitaker, confess why you burnt those people alive.
I have done what no one was ready to do. I will smite the flesh of the unclean to protect the righteous.
You are just another heartless murderer, exploiting the epidemic to kill with impunity.
No! No. The only way to contain the spread is to strike at the source itself. The proliferating sick.
You're not the savior of London. You're just a glorified sadist.
I take no pleasure in this awful cleansing, Dr. Reed. I am only driven by the thousands of innocents I save each night.
I have found Samuel, your disciple. I am afraid I have bad news.
I already expected the worst. He should already have come back. He is dead, isn't he?
Yes, he is now. The epidemic took him.
Samuel steadily made donations to our cause. He would have rewarded you himself if you'd found me in that awful cemetery. Please accept this money.
Your disciple, Samuel, stole from the dead in Stonebridge Cemetery. I have proof of his crime, and proof of his death.
No! Samuel was the best of us. So devoted, so zealous. He gave all he had for the cause. He tirelessly preached the good word.
You know, he defiled the dead with his petty thefts. That's how he financed your misguided crusade.
Think what you will. When this city is saved, he will be praised for his devoted fortitude. He walked boldly into the mouth of abomination.
Your precious Samuel used you. He was an immoral crook.
If that's true, then he will be my burden to bear during this endless night.
I have heard enough.
Soon the time will come when you will all be judged for your sins, Even now, he judges your words and actions. The wars of men should not be your main concern. The disease upon us is not an accident of nature, but the punishment of a divine will.
Tem que encerrar aqui já, gente, por motivos externos.
The walls of your home will not protect you, for there is no protection against malevolence and trickery.